Welcome. My name is Kathleen Gabriels, and I am an assistant professor in ethics and philosophy of computer technology at Maastricht University. Since August 2020, I have been the program director of the bachelor program Digital Society, which is a very new program. We only started in September 2019. So, at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, we offer 4 bachelor programs, and the Bachelor Digital Society focuses on the opportunities and challenges of digitalization processes. This may sound a bit abstract, so I brought an example. This is an excerpt from a report from the European Commission, and I found it quite interesting because it enlists a number of jobs that didn't even exist 10 to 15 years ago. For instance, Airbnb host or a drone operator, podcast producer. Digitalization has an enormous effect and impact on our society, also on a daily basis. And it has changed the job market tremendously. And the Bachelor Digital Society is an academic program. So we will not just train you for one profession, and fortunately, because the job market changes continuously, but we will we will teach you a number of very important academic and professional skills. Examples of academic skills are critical thinking, research methods, writing skills. Examples of professional skills are, for instance, time management. When you look at the news, it's very often about digitalization and artificial intelligence. And not so long ago, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, announced that the company's name would change into the metaverse. And this was really interesting because this is me. Some years ago, because I defended my PhD in 2014, and my PhD was on morality in social virtual worlds, Second Life in my particular case. And I thought that these questions about augmented reality or virtual reality might have been dated by now, but actually they are still very much present day, because this is how Mark Zuckerberg envisions our professional future, which of course also leads to a lot of new questions about how will we interact with our colleagues in the future. And of course, Facebook itself is part of what we call the Big Five: Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. So this all requires a critical stance. Also, when we look at other news articles, we see the impact of digitalization. I work at Maastricht University, and you might have heard that our university was hit by a major cyber attack at the end of 2019. Then we were confronted with the vulnerability of digitalization, because no computer technology can ever be 100% secure. A couple of months later, the corona crisis hit. And then we saw the advantages of digitalization because we could continue with our education thanks to online platforms or tools such as Zoom or Teams and so on. But also, to beat the corona crisis, digital technologies and AI technologies are being used. We have all been confronted with the Corona app or the Corona safety ticket. And all these technologies lead to new questions. For instance, how can we make a trade-off between personal privacy on the one hand and public safety, public health on the other? And when we make a trade-off, we need good arguments. How can we argue for our position? This is all part of critical thinking and other academic skills that you will learn in this bachelor program. So why the bachelor program Digital Society? Well, it's a new program. We only started in September 2019, but it received a very positive accreditation from an international team in February 2019. It's also a unique program in the Netherlands, also because of our method problem-based learning at Maastricht University. It's a highly interdisciplinary program. So we will not just train you in one academic discipline. No, me and my colleagues together, we're very interdisciplinary. So my background lies in moral philosophy and philosophy of technology, but my colleagues, for instance, have backgrounds in social sciences, history, political studies, statistics. It's a very interdisciplinary program. And it's a full-time program entirely taught in English. Examples of topics, for instance, in the first year we have the course Surveillance Society, and you might be familiar with the notion of surveillance, which means top-bottom. For instance, a government spying on its citizens. But we also have surveillance, which means bottom-up, from the French word sous. An example of this is citizens filming the police during riots. Coveillance means peer-to-peer watching. For instance, you can share your data at Strava, so other people can see your results, or you could track your partner with an online tool, or parents can track their children over a distance. Democracy is, of course, not a new concept, but we see that digitalization and social media in particular affect democratic processes and deliberation processes. And this is at the core of the course Digitalization and Politics. In the first year, there's also the course Digital Cultures. And this course, among other things, focuses on the question of how can we digitalize our cultural heritage. I coordinate a course in the second year, and this is about how artificial intelligence is embedded in society. For this course, you will have to read more technical texts, but also more philosophical texts. So it's a very broad program, and there's, of course, a lot of theory involved. It's an academic program, it's a theoretical program. But we will learn you how to relate theory to present day real life cases and the other way around. In this way you will also learn to look more critically at, for instance, news articles. And our course material is not just confined to book chapters, books, peer-reviewed academic articles. No, for instance, for the course Digital Cultures you will have to watch an episode from Black Mirror, or for my course Artificial Society you will have to watch the film Ex Machina, which is all about the Turing test. And for the second year course The Good Life you will have to read a novel, Machines Like Me, which is about a humanoid android that becomes part of a household. And then of course many things start to go wrong. We think it's really important to offer you a number of sources, a number of materials also in order to train your critical thinking skills. So it's what is really important at Maastricht University is PBL, or problem-based learning. So if you want to be anonymous in a big group of students, then PBL might not be your favorite choice, because we offer lectures. Most courses do have a lecture every week, but most of the time you will be part of a tutorial group with about 12 to 15 students, and this is entirely led by students. Of course you will have a tutor who will guide the process, but the chair of every tutorial is a student. The focus lies much more on student autonomy and agency. So basically, for every tutorial, you will have to conduct your own research because you will have to formulate learning objectives yourself as a group. The teaching staff also conducts research on topical questions, very timely and relevant questions, and they also link their own research in their course material. It's a very international environment. I have some numbers on that. So the program is entirely taught in English, but because we have so many nationalities, this is also really interesting. For instance, when you talk about democracy and the use of social media, because everyone's there from their own perspective, and this is a truly international classroom that you will have in our bachelor program. A typical course structure. So when you look at the academic calendar, we don't have a semester system, but the academic year is divided in 5 periods. 4 of them are 8 weeks long, where week 8 is exam week. And then we have period 3, that is basically the entire month of January. And then you will have a skills course. For instance, in the second year, you will have a statistics course. So you will have 2 tutorials per week for a content course, and then you will also have about 2 skills meetings per week. And we offer different types of assessment that align with the learning objectives of every course. So you will have multiple choice exams, you will train your writing skills, you will also train your oral presentation skills, you will have to write a paper, you will have to give a presentation, and so on. And even though it might be very scary when you hear about problem-based learning and entering university for the first time, we are all here to help you. So you're not on your own. From the first year onward, we offer a mentor program. So even before the academic year has started, you will meet your mentor group in the introduction week. So you will be assigned a mentor, and together with about 12 to 15 other students, you can discuss questions that you have, maybe some fears that you have, or very practical questions in terms of time management. So you will have regular meetings with your mentor group. And the bachelor is, it has 3 years, and this is an overview of the first year. So I already mentioned the course Surveillance Society. I already mentioned digitalization and politics. For instance, using digital sources, it's a skills course, and this will introduce you to doing your own research. But when you do academic research, you need to know what is a reliable source, and how can we know when a source is academic and peer-reviewed, and so on. So this is a course that introduces you to these questions. The second year also offers this mixture between skills courses and content courses. As you can see, we also have the mentor program in the second year. In the second year, you will also have 2 statistics courses, quantitative data analysis and working with big data. And we also focus much more on the preparation of doing your own research, writing your own bachelor thesis in the third year. The third year is a bit different because you have so much freedom. In the first semester of the third year, the so-called 5th semester, you can choose what you want. So you could take a minor either at Maastricht University or another university, because we have many partner universities also in the Netherlands where you can do a minor, or you can study abroad. We also have a long list of opportunities. Or you could choose for an internship in the Netherlands or abroad. That is up to you. And the most important aspect in order to graduate in your third year is the bachelor thesis. And this is something for which you can choose your own topic and conduct your own research and choose your own methodology, for instance. You could organize focus groups or expert interviews. I have been talking a lot now, and we have also asked our current students to answer some questions, and our student ambassador will talk about how an average week looks like.
Hi there, my name is Lara and I'm a third year digital society student, and today I'm going to talk about how an average week looks like. So in general, you have 8 to 12 hours contact classes. That means that you have to come to the faculty, or it can also be online depending on the circumstances. And then you're expected to prepare those classes, so it's a lot of self-studying, but you can also of course study with friends or classmates. So in total, you're gonna have 35 to 40 hours studying, including the content classes. And so you have also a lot of time to have fun. So for example, I like to go to gym or have dinner with some friends and flatmates. Just have time to join an association. There are plenty of different associations in Maastricht. And yeah, I hope that helps.
Thank you, Lara. The international student experience. So, when you choose for the Bachelor Digital Society, you will become part of a truly international classroom. So here are some numbers on our current first year students. We have 100 students and 26 nationalities. Last year we had 29 nationalities, and more than 90% of the students are not Dutch. So I've already mentioned problem-based learning is very important at Maastricht University. So you will have some lectures, but most of the time it is up to you. And our student Leonie will tell you more about how PBL works.
Hi everyone, my name is Leonie and I'm a third year Digital Society student, and I'm going to briefly explain how problem-based learning works. So problem-based learning, for short PBL, is a method that we use at Maastricht University to teach, and it basically has 3 main steps that I'm going to share. Technically it's 7, but I like to keep it short. So the first step is going to be pre-discussion, the second step is going to be self-study, and the third step is going to be the post-discussion. In the pre-discussion, you're in the classroom with the rest of your classmates and you get a text that you all have to read. This text is usually not longer than a page. And you all read it, make sure that no one has any answers about keywords in the text. And then once you've all kind of understood the text, you go on to forming a brainstorm. So in the brainstorm, you basically just throw every theme or thing that you've gotten from the text, you throw on the board. So just keywords, ideas that you have, thoughts that you connected to the text, you all just put it on the board. And once everything is on the board, you do what we call clustering. And in the clustering, you basically just form groups of keywords and ideas to make it easier and more organized for yourselves. And then from the clusters, you move on to what we call the learning goals. Learning goals are basically just questions about the text that you have and that you want answered by the end of this task. Normally no more than 5. And then after you have those learning goals ready and in place, you go home and you study the text that you're given at home. You can do it individually or as a group, but usually you do it individually. And you try to answer the learning goals yourself before going back to doing the post-discussion. The post-discussion is then again in the classroom, and as a group you just discuss what you found out. Maybe there are some inconsistencies. Some people thought this while others understood this from the text, or there are still questions about the assignment as a whole, and then you as a group, as well as your tutor, try to just answer the questions that you had and see if there's anything else that you would like to discuss. So that's basically the process of PBL. Sometimes it can vary and it doesn't always work, but usually this is a method that we use for teaching. And I personally really enjoyed because I also quite like discussing. So I really enjoy speaking to other people and figuring out what everyone else understood, and sometimes also just getting into a little debate about what the author might have said or whether we actually agree with the author or not. But I also understand that for some people it can be very stressful to have to immediately share what you think and have to put yourself out there and talk to a bunch of strangers. So I would really recommend maybe going to an experience day or just really thinking about PBL before you do it. It does take some getting used to in the first year, but I think for my classmates and myself it has worked quite well. But just as a heads up, it might not be so easy getting used to it first.
Thank you, Leonie. I've already said that we're a new bachelor program, so In the academic year 2021-2022, we for the first time have 3 cohorts, but we still don't have any alumni. So our first cohort will graduate at the end of 2022. But after you've obtained your bachelor degree, it's up to you. You could either enter the job market or choose for a master's program. And there you have plenty of opportunities. For instance, also at Maastricht University and even at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. But the list is very long if you look at other universities, also internationally. For instance, I'm just picking one example. In Edinburgh, there's also a master's program in digital society, but you could also focus more on human technology interactions and go to a technical university for a master's program. This is really up to you, but it's a very, there's a lot of programs that offer, or many universities that offer master's programs in order to continue your studies. And I can assure you that we will prepare you very well in learning these academic skills and professional skills that will prepare you for a master's program. Career perspectives, this bachelor program, Digital Society, is all about bridge building. So when you're looking at the job market, there's really a shortage of these bridge builders that can bridge or that can have a dialogue between, for instance, social sciences on the one hand and engineers on the other. But again, it's up to you what you want to do. For instance, in your third bachelor year, you can also choose an internship in order to familiarize yourself with the professional experiences. In the third year, we also offer you a non-mandatory mentor program that will also focus on employability. But again, you could also go for journalism, and as I've already said, we don't know how the job market will evolve. So it might be too soon to think about this at this very moment. We still have one student, Claudia, and we asked her, which advice would you give prospective students?
Hello everyone, my name is Claudia and I'm a half Italian, half Spanish second year digital society student here at FASOS, as well as a student assistant and a student ambassador. So today I'm here to give to all of you prospective students which are interested in digital society my advice, and it will be to, most importantly, check the course description, because that will give you an insight on how the courses are in these 3 years and what are we really going to learn, and in general to see if you're interested in digitalization and how this is currently shaping or affecting society from an interdisciplinary perspective. So if all of that sounds interesting and good to you, then of course apply. And my other advice would be to don't be afraid of coming to university, or of the English that you're required to, or of the essays, because it turns out that if you do put some effort, everything will turn out well and it will be a great experience. So yeah, hopefully see you in September, and I wish you a great Bachelor Open Day.
Thank you, Claudia. Some practical information. If you're interested in applying, you can see the deadlines here. So there's different deadlines for EU and non-EU citizens. If you want to know to what extent this bachelor program matches your interests, you could do our matching questionnaire online. If you have any questions, for instance, about the application procedure or other questions, feel free to contact my colleagues at FASOS. We do not just offer open days, we also offer experience days. And during these experience days, it's all about taking the perspective of the students. So you will have a short lecture, you will have a PBL session, and this experience day is also guided and assisted by our student ambassadors. So if you're interested, you can register via the website, and you can see the link on the slide. We also have our communities on social media. So we have an account on Facebook and also on Instagram. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask them. So we've already given you a couple of email addresses, and we also have a website where you can find more details on our curriculum and also on more practical questions. Thank you very much for listening, and well, I hope to see you later at our faculty. Thank you.